Today we welcome Heaton Stannington goalkeeper Greg Purvis to the show. Hi, Greg.
You alright?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Before we get on to your goalkeeping position at the minute, I want to find out about your earliest memories of playing football.
I think I've played football since I was about 6, 7. I started off I've played in goal for like a number of years, and then after like 3 or 4, I decided to play outfield. That lasted a year because my brother told us I wasn't good enough, and then since then I signed for Sunderland the year after. Then from there I've been to a few different places, and I just really enjoy the position. I enjoy being the only one on the pitch, with like kind of like responsibility. That's about it really.
So, was there a person or something on like a team that got you interested in football?
If anything, it was my brother again. He used to play football in the back garden. He was obviously an outfielder, and actually he just belt balls off us, standing in the goal, like from a very young age, and he did belted balls at us. And then I think I just got used to getting hit with a ball, and I quite enjoyed it. I think so. Then obviously from there, I took it up as a position. And as I say, ever since then, I've just enjoyed it, I suppose. So.
And who did you support as a boy?
Newcastle fan. Granda was like had a season ticket, or him and his mate had one, so I used to go to like quite a few games with him. Newcastle fan from very early age.
All right, good answer.
Exactly.
Things starting to pick up. Anyway,
exactly.
I think you've touched on this earlier, but have you always wanted to be a goalkeeper?
I think yes and no. I think I did, and then I think when you're young and you used to make a mistake and then it was always your fault. I think I had a year where I just wobbled a little bit and then I wasn't too sure. But I think my brother reminded us, but I swiftly realised, get myself out on the sticks. And then ever since then, I never looked back. Good things came after that, so it was all good.
And what do you love most about being in goal? I think you touched on it earlier about being the centre.
Yeah. I think it's that thing of like enjoy the responsibility and being the only one on the pitch, as I say, with that responsibility. I think it's a very high pressure position, but I think on the flip side, I kind of thrive off that and I enjoy that, if that makes sense. So, aye.
And if you could play in another position, what would that be?
I think the same as any keeper, would fancy yourself up front, scoring a few goals. Probably not the quickest mobile striker in the world, but I think I could definitely teach a few strikers a thing or two.
Right, getting on with your career a bit here. When did you sign sort of your first contract or your first major step to where you are
now? So I was just playing grassroots, playing for a team called Core Soccer, which is like local to me. Played there till about 11, I think, and then I got scouted by Sunderland. But I was just training a couple of years, so I felt like I had. For me, it was good because I still got to play with mates on a Sunday or a Saturday or whatever it was. But then I was getting like the coaching and the training on the other side, so I felt like I was always progressing. And then I signed officially at Sunderland when I was 14. And then obviously scholarship started under 16s. Was there for 2 years. So obviously sadly got released after that. And then I went over to America, done a little time over there, 6 months or so. Just didn't really enjoy it. Came home, and then I've been playing in and around the Northern League for Team North. I had 4 years at North Shields, and then obviously now I've just signed for Heaton Stan. So yeah, that's kind of like the background of my playing and where I've been and stuff. So
I didn't put this question in, but tell us a little bit about Heaton Stan, about the setup there.
Oh, it's class, to be honest. I think all the way through, like the spine of it, the committee. There's obviously Scott and James, who like chairman and things like that. Honestly, like the whole club's very well run. I think they've got a good plan of where they want to be. Obviously, this year, first year in Northern League One, started off a bit slow, but then now we're starting to pick up good results. And I think, just as I say, the club's got a very good plan. They know where they want to be. And I think I'm on board, and I think a lot of the lads are that we will get there. So it's quite exciting to be a part of it, I think. So,
good stuff. So what's your training schedule like at Heaton? Is it Tuesday, Thursday, or depending on midweek games?
So it's been it's usually trained twice a week. So it's usually a Monday, a Wednesday game Saturday, but obviously if you have that midweeker, you'll train Monday, play either Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously again on a Saturday. So it's not too bad. But I do a bit of coaching as well. So I think football wise, I'm there about playing football or coaching or whatever. It's like 5 times a week. So I just, to be fair, I just love football, to be honest. So it's nice to be there.
So what's your furthest travel? I'm trying to look at I've got a poster on the wall with all the teams. I'm trying to see where your furthest travel would be.
I think you're talking like your Penrith, Carlisle way, maybe. I think it would be one of them two. Obviously, other than Vars and stuff like that, but league-wise, I think it would be Penrith. Would be further than, I don't really know. One of them two.
That's all right.
Just get on a bus and go. I think that's the way it is.
So, following on from the training, so what sort of factors have aided in you achieving your goals as a player or as a goalkeeper?
I think for me, it's Tom Flynn who is the coach like at Heaton. He's also played in Northern League for quite a few years, and I think for him, we kind of at the point now where when it was 2 games a week, it was more, the training was more just kind of keeping me ticking over, keeping my legs going and stuff. But on a personal level, I think we get on really well, and I get out of training is just what I need, if that makes sense. Sometimes that can be minimal. Sometimes, depending on the way the week looks, we'll do more. But we definitely have a good understanding. He's always looking out for me to kind of push us on. And again, he's been in the league for years. He understands the league, so he just gives us like tips or hints and whatever, what he thinks I could do. Or if there's anything I'm always wanting to improve, if there's anything that he's noticed in my game that I don't think or whatever, he would always like give us advice. So I think I'll get there. It's just I'm 25 now, so it just kind of keep me body going, keep myself going, and obviously trying to get as far as I can, I suppose.
I'll shove this question in because I've thought of one the day, believing more questions. But
no,
anyway,
mate, don't worry.
I'm just trying to find out from different people I'm speaking to the best player you played with and the best player you've played against.
We're talking like in the Northern League, or we're talking
just in your sort of career so far. So it could be
I think for me, I was for the best player I've played with, like in regards to help me like develop as a player, I suppose is the way to look at it. When I was at Sunderland, we had an in-house friendly against Hartlepool. So it was like a couple of first team players. So I think there was Barini at the time and a couple of others. But Wes Brown was playing centre half, and I think from there it made like a bit of one of them where, as a player, I felt like he really helped me understand the game more. Like the way like kind of he made it look easy, I suppose. So I think from then he would probably be the one I've learned from the most and the best player I've probably played with. But I suppose it's not a bad one. But one of the best players I've played against was when I worked again at Sunderland, when we used to play against like academy teams and you're around that environment. We always play against Man United, and you always thought, they didn't really play well as a team. It was a lot of individuals, but as an individual, I think everyone will know that Marcus Rashford. A couple of times we played against him, he just needed half a yard. He would cut inside, and then it was in the top corner, so you didn't really hit. There's a couple of videos I think of it out there, and it was just ridiculous. And so I would probably say he's probably at the time he stood out, and I think now obviously you're seeing him do well. So I would probably say him.
And what would you say the most important thing to you is as a football player?
I think it's just, for me, I think it's a team sport. So I think for me the most important thing as a player is to buy in like that side of things, like the social side, and like being a part and being with your team, I suppose. Because I feel like if you isolate yourself, as being a goalkeeper, I know it's a very independent role, but you still need them around you, I suppose, as well. So I think for me, any player, whatever it is, at any level, just making sure you're like in a tight-knit group and you're involving yourself, and just be driven, kind of set your own goals in your head, because some coaches they might have a different plan for you, or they might have a different way of thinking about like your game or what they want from you, but driving yourself. And sometimes people aren't just going to pat you on the back, so I think it's kind of that side of things as well, just kind of being independent as well as being a part of a team at times, I suppose. But I think that would probably be it. Just believe in yourself a bit more, because like I say, you're not always going to get good like I say, a pat on the back. And not all criticism is bad, is it? Because it obviously helps get you take your game on further as well.
Yeah. Have you got a well, maybe it's a sporting idol or someone you've looked up to from going through your career, or you still do?
I think growing up, I always, obviously it might not be everyone's, but I was a Newcastle fan. I think watching Shea Given. I wouldn't say I'm the tallest goalkeeper in the world, so I think, from on paper he's not. So I think watching him growing up and seeing how there's alternatives to not being tall, I suppose, and being a goalkeeper. But I think one of the ones that's kind of developed my career, or like the small career I've had, or is the keeper coach at Sunderland was Mark Prudhoe. And man management wise, he's the best coach I would have said I've ever had. And I think a lot of players who's been coached by him would agree. Just his man management skills, obviously scholarship, it's a full time. You're there with him every day, and he just understands, if that makes sense. And he's just an absolute great bloke. So I would definitely say, footballing wise, watching Shea Given growing up, but as a coach, it would definitely be Pruds. So, aye.
Good stuff. And what do you do outside of football? You got any other sports, or are you into gaming or whatever it may be?
I don't know. I think it's mainly football. Obviously now I run my own Sunday league team with my brother. So I get the coaching side of that. It keeps us busy. But I think other sports wise, I love watching cricket. I had a dabble up with me brother trying to go on fishing, but I wasn't very good. So just mainly that. Just football, a little bit of other sports, but mainly just that.
And I asked this too. I've interviewed 3 or 4 keepers now, and some have and some haven't. But do you have a superstition or a routine before a game?
Not as such, but there's a like a shin pad sock that you put your shin pads in.
Yeah.
My brother had an old pair, and when I went to America, I took them with us because obviously he didn't need them anymore, whatever. And ever since then, they all battered now, like a couple of holes in them. But I wear the same shin pad socks for every game now. And when if I ever forget them or that, I feel a bit insecure. So I think definitely that would be my little superstition, just to keep wearing them until I physically can't get them on anymore.
And who would you say are the best manager you've worked with so far?
I think to be honest with you, all the managers I've had, if I go from as a youngster, you're talking like 16, 18 on a scholarship. I had Elliot Dickman, who's now at Newcastle, but he was you knew what he wanted from you all the time. So he was good and helped progress me. But then Northern League wise, I worked with Colin Stromsoy, who was at the uni. I think he's very different. He had a very different way of things compared to, say, when I was at Shields with Mark Nash, and then obviously now with Dean. So I couldn't really pick one and say, that's my the best one, because I think they have all been just very different characters, if that makes sense. But all have a very good understanding and all very kind of helpful to try and get the players wherever they really want to be. So they've all been very good to us.
I asked this next question to Cam Mason from Southport. It was, what's your best and worst moment in playing football? And one of his was, I couldn't believe it. Someone jumped over the wall when he was goalkeeping and tried to urinate in his water bottle without him seeing.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow,
that's decent.
So he says he was having banter with him, and then he turned around, and then next thing he knew, he's over the fence trying to urinate in his water bottle.
Oh, Jesus.
But I just don't know if you have a bad or a good, bad or good experience.
I think now in the Northern League, I think the younger generation are all coming to watch. I think it's not bad, but some of them will love to kind of chirp on and they'll throw abuse and that. But I think it just kind of makes it more enjoyable. I think it kind of makes you want to kind of prove. That sounds stupid because it's like a 12-year-old kid, but when they're holding abuse at you when you score, and it's just that little look at them and they laugh, and I don't know. I think it's just but I've never really had anything bad, to be honest. Especially not like that story that you just told. So I've probably not got much to compete with that. So
And have you got a favourite game or a favourite save from your career? I don't know if favourite save is going to be difficult because you probably had quite a few, but a favourite game maybe?
Yeah, I'd say I've probably had a few. I think remember like we're going back years now. Well, kind of touching on one of your questions before, where we played against Celtic. We're up in Scotland in the Dennis Lowe tournament, but I had made a mistake about 5 minutes in where they end up like quite a bad one. They end up scoring from it, but then from that, I probably had one of my like best games. So I made 5, 6, 7 like very good saves. Turned out my mistake was the one that kind of we lost the game from, so it was disappointing. But I think on a personal level, my reaction to the mistake was exactly what I wanted, if that makes sense, making big saves and ended up, I think, in extra time. We conceded late in extra time, but it was one of them where I think that, again, pushed on me progression in regards to, right, I know that I can react to mistake, and didn't dwell on it or anything like that. So, and then I think it was my last year at Sunderland. I ended up getting nominated for an award for it. We played Everton, and I've made this diagonal ball across the box. He's volleyed it back across us, and I've got my hand like a strong hand to it. Ended up obviously getting nominated for an award and stuff like that, for save of the season. That's the thing. And I think just for that, like kind of the recognition from that was like very good as well. So they would probably be me too. A game, and then obviously like individual save. So aye.
Good stuff. And you touched on earlier that you're involved in coaching. I was just wondering if you had any advice for any young kids interested in becoming a goalkeeper.
I think for me, it's just don't be fazed by the fact it is an independent or like an individual role, because I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. I think it's fun. And I just think kind of throwing yourself around and getting hit with a football, I enjoyed it. But advice-wise, I think it's just, if you make a mistake, it's gone, you get on with it, because when you're a goalkeeper, if you make one, it usually ends up in a goal. Like say if you're a striker and you miss a chance, technically that's a mistake, isn't it? So I think just if you're ever in a situation where you're making a mistake or like something doesn't go your way, just kind of rub yourself down, kind of keep your head clear and then just move on. Because if the longer you dwell, you'll start creeping in more and more mistakes. So stay positive, and as I say, just trying your best to get on with it. Right?
Excellent stuff. I'm going to give some links out to you. So if you want to follow Greg on Twitter at Greg Purvis 97, if you want to go on Heaton Stan, it's Heaton Stan on Twitter, and heatonstan.co.uk is the website. Where it's been great talking to you, Greg.
No, thank you very much for your time, mate. I've really enjoyed it.
No problem. Just on for 1 minute when I finish off here, and I'll have a bit chat with you. But yes, so go and follow Greg on social media and keep up to date with Heaton Stan. Thanks very much, Greg.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.